she still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Zhang Weili is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, happy 4th of July, and welcome to a 4th of July special here on Axe Kick Picks, episode 184. Today is Friday, July 4th, 2025. It's a perfect fucking day. 78, light breeze, sun out, American flags out. Kid, I feel like fucking Tony Reality over here. How the hell you doing?
Tony Reality, back in your lives and better than ever. Yeah, man. Happy 4th of July. Happy Independence Day. You know, stay safe. Wave those American flags. Have some fun at the fireworks this evening. Should be a good time. Barbecue and all.
Just don't blow your fingers off like Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah. Yeah. There's plenty of stories about that.
Yeah.
He's not the only one.
Do you have your American flag out today?
Of course. I always do.
I know. That was a dumb question, but I had to ask because I have it. I think one of my neighbors has it, and no one else on the fucking block has it.
Come on.
It's crazy. Maybe we'll get a visit. Who knows? Kid, we got a great show for you today. Recap UFC 317. I didn't do good, but man, and I don't usually say this, it was a hell of a card from start to finish. Every fight was, I thought, really good. They had storyline. They had spectacular finishes. It was amazing. We'll break down UFC 317.
Part of the year? I might say.
Right now, yeah. Now, I would agree. Yes, card
halfway
of the year.
point. Yep.
Yeah, no picks this week. Everyone has I know Jake Catterall is fighting, but we didn't really touch that. We got some news. UFC is back in Nashville next week. But they took the week off. Most people did. I know PFL Europe, Joey will have some plays.
Just like we talked about the New Year's Eve card and then like the Memorial Day weekend. They used to be 4th of July cards too. So I don't know. Maybe it's just turning on its head, the scheduling. So
yeah. So we'll see what happens. But kid, we will start. There's no place better to start than Madrid, Spain. The Georgian, the guy that was born in Germany, the guy that speaks 5 fucking languages, the 2-division champion, the one and only Ilia Topuria, man. He knocks out he's a man of his word. I think the call was amazing by John Anik, a man of his word, and that is exactly what he is. Knocked out Charles do Bronx in about 2 minutes and 27 seconds in the very first round, was never in trouble, and
he made quick work of that leg lock attempt, right? He seemed to be in full control of that.
I don't even think Ilia Topuria was in trouble at that
That's
point.
what I mean. Yeah, he was in control, every position in there.
I like lose words of like how to describe this man, because if you're betting against Ilia Topuria at this point in your life, you're losing a lot of money.
Even a more like way to describe it is like an enhanced version of the manifestation of visualization, right? Like he's visualizing as, you know, you could play the footage kind of side by side with Conor McGregor, you know, who kind of started that whole thing of visualizing what's to come and then trying to manifest it, but with your actions. And I think you're seeing a more evolved version of that with Ilia Topuria. You know, he radiates that aura of confidence, and he goes into everything he does that he's the man, you know, and there's no denying that he is. What we see, the results, 3 straight former champs, all knockout victories. You know, you can argue that the matchup was set up perfectly for him with the way Charles fights, you know, going head first in there, going in for the kill. But, you know, you face some power like that with this crisp boxing and, you know, range and just control of the space, everything. You know, he's got a chin too. Everyone was like, this guy's got a chin as well. He got tagged by that elbow. And he took that like nothing, you know. So it seems unreal. This undefeated fighter is the star that he is, and it keeps doing and proving, you know, the doubters wrong. There are doubters still, but like we said, everything he's, you know, saying is coming true. It's coming to fruition.
Yeah, fruition. You mentioned aura. That's exact. This guy just, up until him predicting or just manifesting, whatever word you want to use, saying, I'm going to knock him out. Like having respect for Charles. Like, hey, I like you. I'm sorry it has to be you. having his celebratory dinner the night before his fight. It's just like, this guy is crazy. And it's like, you mentioned Conor McGregor as well. He is the closest thing to a modern day Conor McGregor. The guy is a superstar. He passed Islam Makhachev with most followers on Instagram. He has 10.5.
He passed him on the pound for pound ranking.
Oh yes, he is definitely number one. I think it's all recent bias. When Islam fights in October, and if he wins, he's gonna,
because in the new belt, that makes sense.
I'm in awe. I'm in awe of this guy, man. Like, everything he says, like, if he goes out and says, hey, whoever he fights next, whether it's Paddy Pimblett, we'll get to that in a minute, whether it's Paddy, Arman Sarukian, if he goes out and says, hey, I'm gonna knock this guy out, who am I to fucking say he's wrong at this point, right?
No, yeah, you can't doubt him. Yeah, you got to believe everything he says, because, like I say, he goes out there and proves it every time. It was a hard watch. I know a lot of Charles fans, seeing him go out like that. It like he said, he's sorry he had to do it to him. I bet he's sorry he had to do it to Volk and Max. But I mean, look at these wins. They're no easy wins. Even these guys come back, brushed it off, and came back ferocious. Volk's now the champ when the class he vacated Ilya. So. Yeah, man, he definitely deserves to be number one pound for pound. It's fascinating to watch. I got to see what's going on forward. I would like him to stay at 55. There's just talk about if Islam wins the 70 belt, right? You discussed, and he'll go up and chase him to get the third belt. But he's the type of talent that could hold down 155, kind of, be a dominant champion there, and then move up. I don't want to be moving around these divisions too much, let's stabilize the divisions with some dominant champions if you can hold the belt, because as you get more dominant champions, the weight classes, the levels tends to rise, right? The cream rises to the top. So these divisions turn out better. They get better. The talent gets deeper. So
we'll talk about that in the chief support, how just a champion wants to stay in his division. And I agree. I think more champions should do that. You mentioned the 3-fight win streak against Volkanovski. He said that was his toughest fight. Then he beat Max Holloway. And then he just, no disrespect to Charles, he's one of the most beloved fighters on the roster, and kind of just walked through Charles Oliveira. Knocked out Volkanovski. Knocked out Max, which no one's been able to do. Knocks out Charles Oliveira. I want to ask you, is that the best 3-fight wins in a row? Compared to, I'm going to give you another 3. Back in 2011, John Jones.
I knew John Jones was coming up.
knocked out Marcelo Rua, Quentin Johnson, and Lyoto Machida when that choke is infamous. Those 3 wins are very close to what Ilia Topuria just did, in my opinion.
Yeah. I like those fighters. At the time, those were massive. You can argue that the age a little bit. We could argue, looking at the fight with Max, it was at 45, and maybe it would have been better suited at 55, but we could have seen the same result happening at this weight class too. I'm going to go with Topuria, man. I think you got 3 Hall of Famers right there. Charles Oliveira is a no doubt Hall of Famer. Max Holloway is a Hall of Famer, and you could say the same. Quentin Rampage, right? Lyoto and Mashish Shogun Hua, but I don't know. I see that the even though they're the smaller guys, they're more dominant of champions. They're a higher level. I feel like fair. They're, as we start getting involved, you can't discredit the people, the pioneers of the sport. Mm-hmm. But I think you'd be disrespecting the sport by not admitting that the sport is evolving, and these athletes that are coming out now are way better than what they were. So that's just a matter of fact throughout all sports. They're getting faster, bigger, stronger, more talented, skillful. It's just give credit to where it is deserved, and that's the sport itself. The sport is evolving.
100%. So Dana White did come out and say, you know what? We did not want the Paddy to be in there facing off. And I kind of agree. Not just the sense of setting up the next fight.
Why did it happen?
What happened?
Joe's got mad pull. Joe Rogan just like, bring him in here.
I guess so. I don't know. But I guess the reason I didn't like it is because this man just became a 2-division champion. His whole family is in there.
Taking shine away from it.
Yeah, he took the shine away from him and his family. And I really didn't.
They got to stop doing that. As they want to find the fighters for climbing the cage and try to pull them down. I remember them, Rob. The guys were trying to pull them down the council. I was like, if they're going to find it for that, maybe they should do something like that, or just ban it. Don't allow we got to let the matchmakers do their job. They're kind of putting them in a box. Now, what are we going to say? What was that face-off for if we don't get the Patty match?
100%.
Right? So it's interesting to see. I would like it to stop. I think they should nip it in the butt because it leaves us with more question marks after the fight. You can match make. We love doing that. Oh, who do you think's next? How could this match up? If they face off with someone in the octagon, it's pretty much given that that's the next fight. We know what we're going to talk about next between Pantoja. He's going to be fighting Josh Van. So like that face off happened.
That one I didn't mind though, and it didn't become a two. Yeah, that made sense. This one did not make sense.
And so it just to the point of it making sense is hearsay, but the fact is it leaves that taste in your mouth. We're thinking Patty should get this fight because of the face off, just like you did with the
people are. I'm not, and that's the question I want to ask you. Now I think two things could be true. Is it the fight to make? No, but does it make the most sense business wise? Probably.
It might. I don't think you want to risk this. If it's look invincible as Topuria looks, I don't think you want to risk him losing the belt to Justin Gaethje or Arman Tsarukyan, who are both very capable. I don't think you could doubt the skills of anyone in there. It's a man versus another man at the end of the day. So I feel like you said, in terms of business, you got two undefeated fighters with bad blood, but the story is there. They can easily just turn the page after if Patty doesn't come out victorious. If he wins, and sorry for everyone else, but then Billy's going to get that rematch, is he not? Right? So it will delay things. It'll make things interesting. But and me, I know you said no. You may see someone else, and maybe you give us who you think. But I do. I'm going to go on record and say that I think Patty gets the fight. I think that's something they want to protect themselves in doing. And if by Topuria closing that rivalry, if he puts in another dominant performance, I mean, it's just going to make his stardom even more so. But also, if Patty wins, like I said, that'd make his stardom global.
Everyone's claiming, and it's to what I said to you a few months ago, everyone claims to be the rightful owner. And I think there's three in the hat: Justin Gaethje, Arman Tsarukyan, and Patty Pimblett. Let's all fight. You think you deserve the fight next? I don't. I think Patty needs one more. Now, do I think it will sell the most? Of course. There's years of hatred. These two guys hate each other. And I think it would be the most profitable for the UFC business-wise out of the three. Now, who I think deserves it? It's Arman Tsarukyan. At a certain point, does meritocracy not reign supreme in this sport? At a certain point, I think it has to.
You just moved Josh Van from 11-1. You have number one contender in Arman Tsarukyan.
And he just got in the good graces. He never missed weight. The reason he pulled out of this Islam fight was because of a back injury.
Didn't Dana say that?
He misspoke, I think. It was but he made weight, and I think he deserves it. And I think you talk about matchup, I think Arman is the toughest matchup for Ilia Topuria. I think I think Patty Pimblett beats Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, and I think that's what should happen. I think that's a glorified Grand Prix right there. You have Arman in a more contender fight, Ilia Topuria, and then whoever comes up victorious to that could face the winner of Justin Gaethje and Patty Pimblett. I think
why don't they put them on the same card?
It'll make us think that Justin can still do it if he beats Patty, right?
Exactly.
Though it ruins his stardom, you beat Patty, it's like, okay, this guy could be champ again. But Patty beats Justin Gaethje, and he proved everyone wrong. He deserves that title shot.
Exactly. And then if Justin Gaethje goes, because he could do it, like you said, it's a man versus a man. This is the fight game. I mean, one punch could do it. And if he goes out there and starts his Patty Pimblett,
anyone could do it. Gaethje, yeah, exactly.
Exactly. What I don't like on the Justin Gaethje's team side is saying, you know what, I deserve a title shot. I've done so many favors. If they don't give me a title shot, I'm retiring.
Then you're like threatening them. You know,
you threaten. You're not gonna threaten Dana fucking White.
Yeah, and you know how that goes. One foot on the banana peel of retirement, the other still in the game. You're gonna wind up slipping up.
What is the saying our parents used to tell us, kid? You're cutting your nose to spite others or yourself. Your face, something like that. And that's exactly what he's doing. So interesting. We'll see. But I'm so happy for him. He got the performance of the night. He's won. Each of his last 6 fights, he won $50,000. He got the performance of the night against Jai Herbert.
I heard an interesting stat, where that he before the UFC had not many knockout finishes, and then when joining, he's just been a knockout highlight reel.
Jai Herbert, Bryce Mitchell, Josh Emmett, and then his last 3: Alexander, Max, and Charles.
Well, Josh Emmett put on the best performance, not getting finished.
I talk about how tough that fucking guy is.
What's in the water at Josh Evans' house?
Oh
Jeez.
my god! But I'm happy for Talia Tapori, man. And he said, "Hey, listen, if they need me, I'm ready for December. Put him back in Las Vegas. He loves fighting at T-Mobile Arena. Taxes aren't as much as they are in New York. Why not?
I see a matchup at the end of the year for him.
Yeah, I do too.
Maybe not so much in the co-main event for how many strikes bring.
He will never be a co-main event guy again, ever, unless it's Conor McGregor.
No, I'm talking about the co-main event itself of 370.
Oh yes, the chief support, and still Alexander Pantoja dominates and submits Kai Kara-France. Hey Kai, don't blink. I mean, there was not. I like Kai Kara-France, and I think he's a good fighter, but there was not a fucking millisecond that he was in control of that fight,
or relief, or not being pressured or in control. Yeah, it was Pantoja from start to finish.
Pantoja just looks like he's getting better and better. And this is a guy who said he saw Merab after the fight. He said, "Hey man, I'm not moving up. I'm staying where I'm at. I love my weight class, and there are other guys that deserve a shot. Like example, the 23-year-old who we'll talk about in a minute, Joshua Van. So he still." That is what I like. I like more champions who stay in their weight class. What Pantoja is
100%.
doing.
And
so yeah,
thoughts on the second
Pantoja.
best of all time, the second best flyweight of all time behind Demetrius Johnson. That's gonna be a tough task. I was listening to Good Guy to Bad Guy, right? Channel DC, and they were saying, Pantoja, is he, the best flyweight of all time? And to get that, I agree. You're gonna have to get it's 11 title defenses.
I was gonna ask. I thought it was 10, but yeah, it's
11 title defenses from DJ.
And he has 4, right?
And he has 4 now. So I mean, that's gonna be a tall task. But regardless, you shouldn't take away his greatness, right?
No.
Pantoja's traveling the world, fighting international fighters on a grand scale. You can look and argue that DJ was fighting guys on the more regional basis. A lot more Americans fighting at 125. Then than there were now. You got a lot of more talent from, like I said, all over the world that could fight at 125 that increased the level of the weight class. And that's why we should never see that go away. It was argued that, he's just running through everybody. It's because we had a pool of only, what we had for DJ at the time. But that doesn't take away from his greatness either. It's just an explanation to the situation. We're always going to have arguments about who's the best. And Pantoja's up there on my list, man. He deserves to be now ranked number 4 in pound for pound list. He's just an absolute beast. And man, I know you said it as well. That ground game's gonna be hard to match for Josh Van. Yeah. I that's the thing. We say it could be fair game on the feet. Pantoja's blitzes and be able to pressure on the feet gives him a little edge there, and they're just a threat to takedown. But if he can make quick work of these guys on the ground like this, it makes me think that he can also do the same to Josh Van. But in the pocket, Josh Van can win. Pantoja's excellent. He's a great champion. I like this flyweight division, man. It's fun to watch.
Well, we were saying that before the fight. We were like, hey, if anyone could pose any threats on the feet with knockout power, it is Kai Kara-France. And look how he negated it.
Boom.
Instantaneously.
Yeah. Head down, shots, pressure, clinch to the cage, take him down, drag him down, bring him back down to the ground after he tries to get up. That's another thing, too. Like, I think when you get up, and that's the thing, it could discourage you from wanting to continue to take all that energy to take you down. But if you are on the other end and you're getting up every time and getting dragged back to the mat every single time, those drag downs add up, man. You just get exhausted. You're like, I'd just rather just stay here and just explode up. Derek Lewis, just stand up. You can't accomplish it at a certain point. So he's just a dominant force. And right now, you got to say second best flyweight of all time.
Yeah, no, I would agree. And honestly, I don't agree with the UFC pound for pound rankings. They have him at number 5. I would agree. It's Ilia Tapori 1, Islam 2, Merab 3, and Pantoja at 4. It's these lighter weight classes. They don't get the respect that they deserve.
No, man. I mean, hey, but how can you doubt if we have new champions coming to fold? You can't have them go over Pantoja. He's got to be that,
who's above him, right?
Well, you said Merab. Merab is
that I said that's mine. He's ranked 5th in UFC.
I thought he was 4. I thought DDP was behind him.
DDP is number 4.
Interesting. Okay, I thought Pantoja was 4 and DDP was behind him on the official website. But I think that, let's say Khamzat beats DDP. You can't put Khamzat over Pantoja. That's my point. So Pantoja, being the champion that he is, he's a measuring point for new champions. They're gonna have to defend as many times as his to get past it.
I do
Simple
think
as that.
I do think when he beats him, because I'm on Hamza, and shout out Hamza and the administration. He is in the United States.
Well, he's getting ranked top 3.
No, he's going to be in the top 10. Like, it's
top 10 pound for pound.
Yes.
Yeah,
No, I think he's there now.
Yeah.
I think he's as advertised. But this is nothing. I don't want to take a shine away from Pantoja.
No.
He is the fucking man. That the team he's in at AT&T is amazing. Mike Brown, all of them are fantastic. And you mentioned it. Let's just go right into the curtain jerker and the flyweight.
From the measuring stick to someone who wants to, meet that.
I'm glad Dana White said we're gonna give Brandon Royval his show and win money.
What a guy. Yeah.
What a guy. Took care of him because
Raw
a fucking fight. Raw dog to the fucking max. I mean, I don't understand why he didn't just bang with them more or like try to at least incorporate some wrestling, because you saw how technical and how sharp Joshua Van was on the feet.
Yeah.
Right.
Boom. Dropped him in the third. Like the overhand. Just quick. Bro, too fast.
And you saw the damage.
That's what it is. It's like a Tony Ferguson-esque kind of striking, right? With Brandon Royval, like unorthodox, but surely will get you there. But susceptible defensively to many, common combinations, like just simple 1-2s, hook combos. It leaves you open with that. But like I said, you could hit your opponents at different stuff that they're not expecting. So it was a clash of orthodox to unorthodox, and orthodox won. I tend to like to go with the guys that have the fundamentals and have that traditional like style more so, because it's more or less unorthodox styles take more energy out of you and don't land as efficiently. So I think the more efficient fighter normally comes out on top, and Josh Van is exactly that. That dude is efficient as they come. For his story to come up where he has, I mean, he's just a swell dude, and he deserves that number one. And I was arguing that there was everyone complaining that, you don't have him jump to the number one contender. I mean, he just beat the number one contender. How could you not? The guy who is the champion, we just talked about, Pantoja, has kind of cleaned out the division. He's now lapping it. You need this new kind of blood. So this injection of Josh Van into the title, I mean, hell, if he beats Pantoja, he gets up there in the pound for pound ranking, and he just makes that whole division interesting. So it's good for the sport. And Josh Van, let's see who's on the van now. Who's on the Josh Van now?
How impressed are you by this 23-year-old? Because the climb after I saw him lose in Denver almost a year to the date. And now,
how good is Charles Johnson?
Yeah, right. How good is my boy Charles Johnson?
Yeah.
But Joshua Van, after getting knocked out in elevation, coming back, winning 2 in a row, taking this on short notice, and now the youngest fighter, 23, getting a title shot in maybe the end of the year, early 2025, 26. We'll see.
I'm seeing that.
But how impressed are you by Joshua Van? He's the first fighter that was born into 2000s to be fighting for a belt.
That's beautiful. Right? He's Burmese, right? As well.
Myanmar.
Myanmar?
Myanmar,
Neymar. And that's what I was saying, like the embedded, they were at church singing and stuff like that. Dude, I'm happy for this guy's rise, bro. Like kicking myself a little for not backing him, right? Took Brandon Royval on the value as a dog.
But it's not like I took him too, but it's not like Brandon Royval was bad.
Not at all. No, it wasn't a bad loss at all. And, it's just that I've been riding Van. I have been, right? I've been on the Van for a minute now.
No pun intended, yeah.
So, now he's coming against, my favorite fighter, in Alexander Pantoja, man. I'm going to have to look into it big time. But I do, like I said, bias towards my grapplers, bias towards the athlete and the way the game don't want to take anything away from either guy. They both deserve their flowers and their shine, but I mean, it's making up for a fantastic 125-pound title match.
Yeah, and I don't think Brandon Royval takes a big step back. He did move down 2 spots in the flyweight division to number 3, but I think he's another fight or 2 away.
3? Who they kept ahead of him? Amir Albazi?
Let me see. Brandon Moreno's at 2.
Okay. Oh, so he's just 3. I thought. Okay.
Yeah.
1,
so.
2, 3.
What do you think's next for Brandon Moran? Not Brandon, for Brandon Royval, because he's definitely got to take a step back, maybe regroup, try to get a win, and try to get back in this title picture somehow.
Man, let me see. I mean, when's he supposed to fight Manel Kape? Right? Josh Van stepped on a short notice originally, right? Was that what's supposed to happen?
Yeah.
So why don't you have that happen? Just have that run that back. Right, Manel Kape. I think we may want to see Tatsuro Taira kind of defend his spot. So maybe Tagir Ulanbekov matchup there, and then the winner of that can also face him. Something like that, because these guys at the top three, Moreno, Royval, and now Josh Van, have kind of earned their spot. Like Royval doesn't have to really prove himself that much. You got to beat him if you want to get to the title. So Moreno's the same thing. So yeah, they might not need a matchup ever so soon, but I see you could run back Manel Kape and Brandon Royval.
Pantoja is the favorite, minus 215 against Brandon Royval, against Joshua Van. So fair. I think that makes sense.
That's what I played. I played it straight up, that same number, minus 215 against.
I mean, and rightfully so. He looks like he's getting better with age too, and you really don't see that. You usually see the kind of opposite, but Pantoja is just different, bro. So happy for him. He's one of my favorite fighters as well, just because I don't think he gets the shine and credit that he
work
deserves.
Ethic, and then the day in and day out, like you said, like he may be a little bit older. He's still not has reached over the hump, but it's just he's evolved into the champion that he is. We talked about that. When you become the champ, sometimes you just become even better. Same thing can be said for, as we talked about the first fight, Ilia Topuria. Yeah. Since becoming the champ, he may be unstoppable.
Shout out them. It was the fight. I think it's the fight of the year outside of the Nicholas Mata and
yes, Nazim
Sadikov. This was insane fight. So I'm glad they were both able to get
they both get the performance bonus, and he gets his win money. Yeah, shout out Dana for that.
Shout out Beneil Dariush. You wouldn't think of it with the gray hair, but these two are the same age. Yeah, Beneil Dariush wound up losing round 1, got put on his ass in round 1, and then came back and won rounds 2 and 3. Shout out Beneil Dariush, man. Good win.
Yeah, Benny, man. The surprising win, dude. And he looked good, man. Grappling, he was out jiu-jitsu, and he was a step ahead in every Renato Moicano move, man, on the ground there. So, yeah, man, we always knew that he sometimes throws the IQ out the window and just wants to stand and bang, but no, I think he played it really smart in this one. And he's not going anywhere. I argued that we might see the last of Beneil Dariush, but it doesn't look like that, especially after that win. And what did he say? He wants to compete for a title. So I got to believe a fighter when they say that. And, I mean, he's professional. He's not going to miss weight, and he was always going to be there. So, I mean, where he's ranked in the division, I mean, maybe he puts a couple wins together, he could do something. But I feel bad for Renato Moicano. Money Moicano, a loss like that, It's tough because I don't know necessarily what you could do with him next in terms of, he had this title opportunity against Islam, didn't fare so well. It's going to be tough sledding. I think he's, we argue a lot of times with the matchmakers, are they going to give these guys favorable matchups or not? I think Renato has made a name for himself, and I think some guys upcoming are going to have to, they're going to want that. They're going to want the stardom to take away from the name he's built, and like I said, it's gonna be tough sledding from here.
What about a guy like a guy like Michael Chandler or Grant Dawson?
I like that, Grant Dawson.
Because he's still ranked. Like
people argue like he should be getting these fights that he hasn't seen in quite a while, but maybe it's just I guess the matchmakers look at that. Not much stand up going on. Let's get more exciting fights.
It was an exciting fight and a great turnaround. I mean, the work that this guy's put in within the last 4 or 5 months, Peyton Talbot, man, what a fight this was. I'm surprised Felipe Lima just didn't stand and bang. He was trying to force these takedowns, and it just wasn't going to happen. Like, Peyton Talbot was stuffing.
His corner was telling him, Lima's corner was telling him, yo, stand with this guy. Yeah, they were saying exchange with this guy.
Exchange with him, and he was landing. So, I
think he hurt him a couple times, too. Like, his shots were registering pretty well, but Talbot had the fortitude to kind of walk through, right? A little of them kind of walk him down, play the size game a little bit. He did good in the grappling exchanges that occurred as well. He seemed to be dominant in those positions. I think size did play a factor. So Talbot's big for the division, and he's good. I think the kid's really good, So yeah, you can't doubt Peyton Talbot. You know what I mean?
No. Great bounce back win, and I love the call out too with Adrian Yanez. I think that's a very good fight too for him.
Yeah, that makes sense for him too. His trajectory, what he's trying to do, start building him up, start giving him these fights that could get him into the rankings, and his age and everything. Yeah, we can have a young guy. He could be a guy for 155.
Yeah, shout out him.
Is it 135?
No, it's bantamweight.
It is 135. Yeah.
Shout out RoboCop, man. I did think Herb was a little late, but it's not the fighter's responsibility to stop a fight. It is the ref.
Yeah.
Now,
What if he didn't do anything and he woke up? I mean, come on.
Exactly. And then RoboCop's fucked. He could have had his walk off moment, but that's not his job.
Imagine
His
let
job
him
is
wake
to
up
fight.
like the Undertaker and then stop the fight. George RoboCop's too big of a cut.
And Jack
like
Hermanson,
UFC 5 moment right there.
And Jack Hermanson's team came out and said, hey, there's no hard feelings. Jack would have done the same thing, and rightfully so. There's no hard feelings. It's the fight game. But what
bro
a
was
fucking brutal knockout.
He was sleeping for a minute.
He was asleep. So
Yeah,
I'm glad they provided updates throughout the night.
He's all right.
He's all right. But I thought he had some moments though, Jack Hermanson. He just didn't survive the last 40 seconds.
If he did, and he pushed it to the second and third round, probably would have won. To be honest with you, that's the thing. He's that kind of grinder guy that you just can't take for granted. But I guess going forward, you don't want to be in exchanges. You don't want to be in a firefight with a guy with that much power. I think that's going to be Rodriguez's kind of go-to. I know he's got some killer jiu-jitsu, but the thing that's going to be a factor for him is going to be the gas tank. If he ever gets past the one, he's going to be in trouble, I think, for the rest of his fights. That's just the way he's designed, right? Yeah. We talked about the anatomy of fighters, the way that they are. Some body types are different. Like we know Conor, the way his body was designed and the way he threw his shots, he was good for 2 rounds, and that's about it. So that's just what I think with Gregory Rodriguez. He's seek and destroy for the first round, and then you may be able to get a victory over him.
I think the loss to Jared Cannonier was the best thing that happened to him, honestly. Losing a 5-round fight like that, gaining a ton of experience against a veteran who's been in the game for almost a decade now in Jared Cannonier.
I hear he's like such a nice guy too.
He's the killer gorilla. Are you kidding?
Not Cannonier, a RoboCop. But yeah, Jared Cannonier, I heard is nice. Unless you approach him funky, then he'll be like,
yo, fuck out of my face. You know who really came to fight? Jose Delgado, baby. These boys came to bang. 26 seconds and see a hider.
I saw Yanni the Greek take him via KO TKO. I saw Mithy Benz take him KO TKO. I took him prior to both of their bets via KO TKO, and I was sweat, bro. Like how I am right now, I was just profusely. So I was like, oh, it's not gonna hit. Bro's not gonna hit. 30 seconds in. Good night. Hider reveal.
You know who he didn't take? Yanni the Greek. My girl Tracy Cortez. Shout out Tracy. Great bounce back after a year off against that tough loss to Rose that I saw live in Denver. Coming back, entering the top 10 now, beating a girl like Vivian Araújo. And she's in the top 8 right now.
She's committed. And
I think the problem with Tracy is she needs to be more active. Let's none of this 1 fight a year bullshit. We need 2 to 3 fights a year.
Yeah, fight in June now. I see that she could be available in the next 3 to 4 months. Right? That was
no UFC card. Go fight in September.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So 3 to 4 months come September, right? Is that when it's going to be? Or is it
September 20th or 21st?
I think that could line up for her. Might as well try to hunt for that, and I think the matchmakers will love it.
Yeah, so great win by her. Actually, she dominated that fight. Shout out Terrence McKinney, man. Holy shit, what a fight. I feel bad for Slavakos, but Terrence McKinney is a beast. Another first-round knockout.
How could I ever said over? But that's crazy because I was like, yo, round 2 to start. I mean, like, Slavakos would kind of get out of the first round. Gots to get out of the first round. Then I went to the chat. I hit the chat. Dog, I was like, over under 1 minute. Shout out my boy Joe because he was like under. So that shit was under a minute still. Yeah. 55 seconds. Got him out of there.
What a performance by Jacoby Smith. I mean, submitting Nico Price. He was one of the biggest favorites in UFC history. Gotta work on the post game. If you're gonna cut it was terrible.
And the gas tank too. He's supposed to be an Oklahoma State wrestler, supposed to have tremendous cardio.
Go Pokies.
Yeah, man. I mean, sheesh. It was a little rough in there, wasn't it? We were worried about Nico Price was going to get a victory. Looking at minus 1,200, about to be a plus 1,500 underdog victorious. Yeah, he's a dog, but I think his time has come. I think it was a bad performance by Jacoby Smith, actually.
Wow.
And I think that Nico Price has shown his age in there, man. Like I said, I think it's more or less Nico Price still just doesn't got it anymore. Yeah. Still in there trying to give it his all. That's just a heart that got him to the second round. But to get subbed after the way Jacoby Smith looked, I want to see that improvement from him. The work ethic, I think we'll play. It's not that he's not working hard. I'm not, but it's just you see it. As a matter of fact, I think he should have subbed Nico Price in the first round. You know what I mean? Like that's what you more expect. Dominant complete dominant from start,
especially at this price.
At this price, and then what the level we think he could be. You know, you get this victory, and he could be getting another tough matchup next. So, like I said, I just want him to work on that cardio, and I'm sure he'll be, if he does S&C, just strength and conditioning all of next camp. He knows how to wrestle. It seems like he knows how to throw hands. I think that might make the vast improvement in his game, and we could see a new version of Jacoby Smith.
Jonate Diaz, is that how you pronounce it?
You know what? Yes, Jonata Denise, but I feel like he's the loser in that, regardless that
Why?
he was the victorious unanimous decision. Because the people love Guzzi. People love Alvin Hines. He's like the new version of Parker Porter. People love that dude. He's going to be sticking around for a while. Don't be surprised when you hear his name get called again in the coming couple months. I think that the UFC is going to give him another matchup, especially in that thin heavyweight division. Alvin Hines, being a fan favorite, will get one.
Did you see him having a fight in the hot air balloon?
Yeah, I saw Jonata Denise, right?
Yeah, that was crazy. I never saw that.
Like, how does that work? Like, if you ever lost some altitude, you're probably like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, feeling loose. I don't know.
I'd be scared shit, but he was like, bro, I love the adrenaline rush.
Was they wearing backpacks?
I don't fucking know. These
How
people
did
I
ran through the fucking cage and I ran.
imagine you get speared, like clinched up along the cage in a Brit.
And you just
see ya.
Bye.
Oh, but overall,
fantastic
card.
Yeah.
So happy, lived up to it. Didn't have the best. I went 2-5, but I didn't really care. I was so happy with all the fights were entertaining, and I had a really good time watching it. How did you do?
Dude, I had a really good weekend, man. I went 14-8 overall. Really good in UFC 317. I split with the Paul and Chavez fight. Crazy with that, man. Bro being deported after having a fight. You think Jake Paul?
Oh, wait, hold up. We'll get to it. We'll get to it. Hold up. You're jumping the gun. I said UFC.
Okay, but yeah, but I don't have that specific. I went 14-8 with that included. Even bro, I gotta look back too. My 10 seconds left, bro. I think I'm on like a heater right now. I don't think I've lost for the last almost going on 2 months, dude. Let me see this. I got you. Oh my goodness. Last loss and 10 seconds left occurred May 2nd.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So we've been hitting on 10 seconds left every time I've been putting a bet out.
I love it. Kid, well, we'll get to the Jake Paul fight. Give me a second.
Yes, I apologize.
You're beating us to the punch, kid. Real quick, update on Joey Chestnut. He is 63 hot dogs in with 1:44 left.
Wow.
64.
So I don't think he's going to break his record.
No, he's not going to break the 76.
That's insane.
Yeah, 76.
I got to watch it. Fuck.
But yeah, you mentioned it. Jake Paul, he beats Julio Cesar Chavez in 10 rounds, 99-91, 97-93, which is how I scored it.
Fight only picked up at the 9th and 10th round.
Yeah. And Jake Paul is now officially ranked 14th in the WBA cruiserweight rankings. He is now eligible for a world title shot against current champion Zuro Ramirez. It's crazy. You got to give him credit what he's doing for boxing, and now he's putting in the work, and he could become a world champion.
Yeah, man. We got to see it. I thought cruiserweight had Jail Pataya as the champ. There's multiple champs in there?
Yeah, multiple.
Okay. Well, Jail Pataya knocks him straight into,
That's what everyone says, and then they lose to the problem child.
But he think he's going to go right to a Zurdo matchup?
No, I don't think so. I think he has one more fight.
That's the thing. They got to give him one more. Tommy Fury, you're up.
Yeah, you never know. He does have a win against him, and that's a big fight. That fight does numbers, kid.
He beats him. That Tommy Fury gets a title shot off of that. That's ridiculous.
That'd be crazy. But
what's he been doing all this time? We've been talking about Jake Paul, but
he's fighting cans.
But I haven't even remember a matchup. You can't say Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. is not a can.
You were the one who said he was a can.
But I picked him.
I know, but I never thought he was. Now, is he a cartel member?
Maybe.
Bye. I mean, what That's a crazy, week for Julio Cesar Chavez. He was arrested yesterday. He's being held at the LA detention center. He's getting deported within hours. He's probably on his way back to Mexico. According to Homeland Security, according to my sources, my sister does work in Homeland, Julio Cesar Chavez has an active arrest warrant in Mexico for his involvement of organized crime and trafficking firearms, ammunitions, explosives, etc. And it's reportedly associated with the Santola cartel.
The Sinaloa?
whatever.
Look at that. Yeah, man, that's crazy shit, bro. I wonder what his pops thinks of all this. I mean, what he's an American citizen, is he not? So
Yes, father is. Yes,
very, very confusing, right? And shit that makes you think. That I said, did Jake Paul maestro all of this?
And now there are videos of ICE arresting Julio Cesar Chavez 24 hours before the fight and released him and let him fight, and then arrested him again.
Oh my God! So are they allowed to pay him? Do they not have to pay him now? Jake Paul will be like, well, you've been deported. I don't have to pay you.
This whole thing is fucked. Is our government involved?
Bro, this has been a crazy weekend so far.
You saw his dad in the crowd. Let your hands go. His dad was mad because his dad probably knows, like, you could beat this guy. Just let your fucking hands go a little bit.
That's right.
And he only picked it up in like the 9th or 10th round. And honestly, Jake Paul really wasn't doing anything either.
No, he could have done it if he put it on a little earlier.
Oh, I want to redact that statement. Jake Paul, you were the man, because him and Nikita, they're starting to sue people for defamation in
Nikita,
the CEO of MVP.
Ah, okay.
Nikita Berdarian. He used to work for the UFC. But they are starting to sue people who say bad things about Jake Paul and and what he does for boxing. So
interesting.
Jake Paul, great job. You did amazing. Hope you get a title shot, kid. But by the way, Holly Holmes, she returned. She had a unanimous decision over Yolanda Verga.
Like you said, death, taxes, and Holly Holm by decision.
But the highlight was Floyd Schofield.
Bro, oh my God. Bro ran through Tevin Farmer, bro.
First round. See ya.
Like the first drop, got up. It was over in the second exchange.
Who was the guy? You mentioned it. The kid from Jersey.
Oh, our boy Julian Rodriguez.
Shout out to you, kid.
All odds stacked against our boy, and he came out on top, man. And he's another guy that's a dark horse for the title.
Joey Chestnut, 71 ends with, and his line was 71.5. Did he
just
know?
Ends with 71?
Yeah. He won by 20. Yeah, under hit by a half. Did he know?
100%. He's doing this to them because they kicked him out of the damn competition. So bro said, what's the line?
You.
I'm hitting under so I can put $1 million down on my name and he's going to win it. So,
oh my God.
He deserves
it for the picks. It's so fucked.
The GOAT.
And I picked the over. All right.
I still miss Kobayashi, though. He was great for him.
Oh,
great rivalry.
Great competitor.
Great competitors.
All right, kid. Before we get to some news, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you each and every episode by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. Is no wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV. Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebration, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick. Just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys or an elderberry watching the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, it doesn't fucking matter. Our favorites pair perfectly with our Artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. I believe here at X Cake Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, kid. Let me talk about some news before we get up out of here, because I know you have some picks towards the end of the show. Unfortunately, Gunnar Nelson and Neil Magny is UFC 318, July 19. Nelson has an injury and he cannot compete. So probably back to one time a year for Gunnar Nelson, unfortunately. But we do have a banger. August 2nd, UFC 108, back at the world famous Apex. Esteban Ribovic taking on Elvis Brenner.
I like
Love that fight.
That's a fucking banger of a matchup.
That's a banger of a fight. Really cool, though. I want to talk about Real American Wrestling. Bo Nickel has signed with them. The promotion is run by Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan. Bo Nickel will be competing in a wrestling match alongside his UFC career as well. He's making his debut for the promotion at their inaugural event August 30th, I think, in Cleveland, Ohio. But I think more wrestlers like Jacoby Smith, who we just talked about, other wrestlers should do this, and the UFC is allowing this. You could wrestle and also compete in the UFC. I like it.
So it's legit, like freestyle wrestling?
Oh, yeah. It's legit as they come. Yeah.
Well, you said Hulk Hogan and whoever. I'm thinking
Eric Bischoff.
I'm thinking they're going to be, wrestling.
No, it's a mat. Like, they're actually wrestling.
Yeah. Okay. Bet.
And
Yeah.
he's been in the Penn State wrestling room for the last 4
He's
weeks.
got to let them make some money. You know, they allow their competitors to go into BJJ, right? Tournaments and stuff like that and compete in other submission grappling tournaments. So yeah, I think it's good for it. I think limit, obviously you can't have anything where they're, taking shots to the head. I mean, they let Cowboy and Donald Cerrone do kind of whatever the fuck he wanted, even during fight week. So I think you kind of got to let the fighters go and, control what you can in certain aspects. That's it.
100%. UFC 321. We're already at 321. October 25th, Abu Dhabi. What is your main event there?
October 25th in Abu Dhabi?
October 21st. Oh, 25th.
25th.
Yeah.
It is the 25th. Yeah.
What's
before
your birthday
event, dude?
Mine is Islam JDM.
I was gonna say you got to put JDM over there. Yeah, JDM.
You support Alex and
I think that could be its own main event.
Really?
Magomed Ankalaev
in Abu Dhabi. Chief support.
I think that's a main event, bro.
Where?
At the end of the year.
So you don't put Ilya?
You got 4 pay-per-views at the end of the year. You got 2 in October, 1 in November, and 1 in December.
Oh, and you're right. They did put Alex Pereira in the second one in October last year in Utah.
They could spread it out a little bit. They make more pay-per-views since they've been kind of like we've been hoping for more events like what we just had with 317. So let's get it together.
And I don't know if you heard, but President Trump announced he plans to host the UFC championship fight on the grounds of the White House as part of America. Is that? It has to be Conor.
Yeah, I saw that, right? You had Conor and Michael Chandler facing off and stuff like that.
That would
just
be
let
hilarious.
him fight. I mean, come on now. Let's just
let him fucking fight. We do have boxing news though this week. Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, is coming out of retirement, according to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. He said he talked with him. Quote: "I talked to him, and I have his word to have him in Riyadh season in 2026. We have a rabbit to hunt." The trilogy is coming, my friend.
The trilogy is coming, dude. I don't know. Dubois might have something to say about all that.
Oh, come on. We'll find out in 2-3 weeks.
Remember that fight? You don't remember that performance Usyk had that first time? Dubois stopped a lot of his game, man. Shut it down, if you remember.
Alexander Usyk by massacre against
God. Slavic.
Yeah. Shout out Matchroom. You know why? Because they signed former UFC fighter Molly Meatball McCann to boxing.
What?
Good for her.
That could be good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like you had to go to bare knuckle or anything. You probably get paid more.
Yeah. And then last one, I'm so happy. We talked about it once they fought. Long history with their fathers, but Chris Eubank and Conor Benn 2 will take place September 20th in London. Has to be at Wembley, in my opinion, but
that'd be cool. Didn't they do it already there? Wasn't that originally where it was?
Yeah, they have to do it again.
So they'll just run it back. I think they'll be fine with doing it.
The rematch will take place at 160 pounds with a 10-pound hydration reclause. These are the same terms as the first fight where Chris Eubank failed to make weight by 0.05, but
0.05, and then that means they can't rehydrate past 10 pounds.
Exactly.
So they can't weigh more than 170, right?
Yeah. So who do you like? Because you were on the Conor Benn side, unfortunately, kid.
How it unfolded and stuff like that. I think you figured to go back to Eubank, switch it up.
He's the bigger fighter.
And it seemed that he outclassed him a little bit in the first, but yeah,
Are you happy they're running it back? Because that was the fight to make.
I hate to say maybe it's a little too soon, but then again, what other time would you have it, right? So, you know what? It makes sense for them to just finalize it. Hell, if Conor Benn wins, then they can have a trilogy.
Yeah.
But
more
right
money.
now, it's technically in terms of lineage, it's 2-0 Eubanks. So.
Do they make it 3-0? We will find out.
And now shut the rivalry from generations down until their grandkids.
Until their sons. That would be hilarious. If let them go. Kip, but that's all the news I got. I know you have PFL Europe in Brussels tomorrow afternoon. What do you got?
Yes, sir. I think it'll be a good card, actually. Right now, PFL MENA is on, so they're over there in Saudi Arabia having some fun. But I'm going to be touching the co-main event slot. It's Taylor Lapilus. I think you have a familiar name there, UFC vet. But he's fighting on this card. He's a -210 favorite taking on Ali Taleb. And a lot of you don't know about the Swedish fighter, but Ali Taleb is legit. He is awesome. He only has one loss where I felt like he slipped up a little bit in that. But I like the value, the plus 170 value on Ali Taleb and all his talent. If you don't know, now you know. I think he could beat Taylor Lapilus. So give me the plus 170 dog there. I want to be touching the main event because Patrick Haribora, the Belgian bomber that he is he's a massive favorite. He has an extensive amateur career, and he's probably going to make quick work of Hot Chocolate Danny Roberts. So that's why I'm not touching the main event. But like I said, Ali Taleb in the co-main event, plus 170.
Joe, thank you so much. We are back next week. UFC Nashville. We have some boxing as well. Amanda Serrano versus Katie Taylor 3 on Netflix at Madison Square Garden. I cannot fucking wait for that. We have UFC Nashville. Derek Lewis is fighting. So we're back locked and loaded next week, but we needed to come back and talk about this crazy card. But everyone, enjoy your holiday. Joe, real quick, I got to ask you before you leave. How many hot dogs have you eaten?
None.
No, not today, but in a sitting, how much do you think you could
if I were to compete?
Yes.
Damn, I hate to say it, maybe like 35, 40.
Holy shit. I was saying like me personally, I could put like 8, not if that. Like the most I've had in one sitting without time is like 5.5. I was like,
yeah, man, I think you got to prep for that though, bro. I don't think you could just go right into it. Just like we talked about the weight. I don't think you just jump right into it. You got to prepare for something like that.
Yeah, he trains his throat, his stomach, everything. Yeah. So shout out Joey Chestnut. He's an absolute fucking legend. But everyone, enjoy your holiday. Be safe. God fucking bless America. And we will be back next week. Peace.